Yes.
Yes, you can record.
Yes.
No problems.
Thank you.
I'm just going to mute so that my family in the background doesn't interfere with the...
Thank you so much. That's very thoughtful. So you ladies can all mute yourselves. You ladies can all mute yourselves, and then let's get started. Please just don't leave me behind like here talking to myself. That's what I wanted to avoid. All right. Welcome, Deidre. Let me know in the chat where you are joining us from. We've all introduced ourselves, sort of had a little bit of a quick chat. So please let us know in the chat where you are joining from. So we are recording the meeting as well. So I'm going to share my screen. Ooh, I've got so much happening. Oops. Okay. So the goal for today's class is to find out the cost of the cake that I've shared with you. And if I've not, okay, I'm not sure, ladies, my connection is a little bit dodgy today, so please do bear with me. All right. And if you're not following, please always feel free to pop your comments, anything in the chat so that I can get to that. All right, so the purpose of today's meeting is basically to cost a cake, and I decided to go for a very simple cake. I shared with you this, for those of you who are on WhatsApp that signed up for the class, I shared this with you on WhatsApp. It looks like my connection is not stable, so I'll try to stop my video. All right, so that we can just proceed, and I'll see if that works, because usually when you share the screen on Zoom, it takes a lot of sort of, I don't know, it makes the connection slow. So this is the cake that we will be costing today. That is the cake that we will be costing today. I decided to go for a very simple cake because I didn't want to make anything complicated. Himi, can you please mute yourself? All right. Okay, I'm not sure if this is going to keep happening. Again, I'm popping in and out. Can you ladies hear me before I... Am I audible? Can maybe anyone just let me know if you can hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
All right, thank you.
Esther, you are muted.
Thank you. All right, because I just saw the chat. All right, is everything fine now?
Yes.
Awesome.
Hi, ladies.
Hello, welcome. All right. So what we need, can we all just mute maybe so that we can follow through the lesson? Okay, so what you need to know is you need to know your recipe or your ingredients. You would also need to know your local prices. So what I did for this class is I tried to go on the Checkers website, and I literally just did that online. I checked their South African prices. I couldn't quickly find a Namibian supermarket that I could get prices online. So that is just for demonstration purposes. And then so you need to know your local prices for your ingredients before you do this exercise. And then you also need to, when you have the recipe, because we have two recipes, we have the buttercream recipe and we also have the vanilla cake recipe. So you need to convert your recipe to the same measure. So the liquid measures have to be the same and the solid measures have to be the same. That means that if your liquid measures are in milliliters, then all of your liquid measures have to be in milliliters for your recipe. If your solid measures are in grams or kilograms, you have to choose which one you want. You need to make it consistent, all right? So that is the next thing that you have to do. And then, of course, you also have to make this work for your business. For this to work in your business, you need to cost all your recipes. So that basically means that you would need to cost your recipe, basically all your menu, how can I put this? Like as a baker, you have a couple of flavors that you're going for, and then there are other flavors that you are not going for, right? So you want to make sure at this point that you start with one recipe. Today we are doing the vanilla cake. So if you're having 5 recipes in your home bakery business menu, then you want to do that for all 5 recipes. You also want to do the same for your fillings, or if you have different buttercreams that you're using, maybe you're using Swiss meringue buttercream, American buttercream, or you are having some sort of exotic fillings for your cakes, then you also want to cross them. So basically for this exercise to work in the long run, you want to ensure that you cost out all your recipes, whether it's fillings, whether it's buttercream, or whether it's a recipe for your sugar cookies or for your cakes. You need to cost them all out. And then what you also need to know is that you need to know your baking supply prices, like your baking supplies, your piping bags, your boards, and your drums, etc., etc. So that is all you need to do. So ladies, if you have a pen and a paper, let's go shopping. Let's go shopping. So are we all following? Just give me a yay or a yes, and then I can proceed.
Yes.
Awesome. I hear a yes, so thank you so much. So let's go shopping. Let's go shopping. So you all have your recipe, right? Do you all have your recipe? The recipe is this one that we are using. Are you all having your recipe? Yes or no? Let me know in the chats. Okay, so I see a couple of yeses. Sophie says yes, Carrie says yes, and Rodensia says yes. All right, yes, yes. Okay, thank you. All right, so this is the recipe. So if you have a pen and a paper, please grab that. And I think for the sake of time, there was a question if we can use oil. That is absolutely fine. But if you understand the process, I think that's the most important thing. So let's keep the oil idea on the side. But then as long as you understand this process, then you know, I think that if you grasp the concept, that's good enough. So we can still come back to that, but let's start with the butter. The first ingredient is butter, and for butter, you need 2 sticks of butter. So the first thing that you want to do is you need to find out how much is 2 sticks of butter. For me, the best thing I do is I just Google, all right? So if you're not sure about your conversions, by the way, I have a conversions cheat sheet, like you can just use it and calculate it. If you want that, then just send me a WhatsApp. For those of you ladies that signed up for the class, I've sent you an email. Just reply, please send me the conversions cheat sheet and I'll be sure to send it to you. So for the butter, we are saying 2 sticks of butter is 226.8 grams, right? So at this point, we want to add that here, 226.8 grams. So what I was saying here is you can see that this recipe is not having like the milliliters or the grams. But if you look at the second recipe, which is the vanilla buttercream recipe, you will see that luckily we have grams here and so forth. So I downloaded these recipes from online deliberately because I wanted to demonstrate to you that downloading a recipe and just going by it is not, you know, going to serve justice to your business. If you just don't like, if you just download it and you don't do the work of costing your ingredients. So once you download a recipe, make sure that the measures are consistent. So now the first thing here is we see that the butter is 2 sticks, and we know that that is 226 grams, 26.8 grams. Then the next thing here is the all-purpose flour. And we are saying that is 3 cups. Again, I'm just going to Google that for you again, 3 cups of flour, and you can do this for all your recipes. And then what we want to do is we want to find that in grams, and it's 360 grams, if you can see it there. So we just put it here as 360 grams. Okay, so because I already worked out this recipe, I'm not going to Google anymore, and I'm just going to insert the measures. 1 tablespoon of baking powder is 200 grams. Am I correct? 1 tablespoon of, let me Google this one as well, because, so 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Let's see how much that is in grams. 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon is right here. It's 14 grams. So it's 14 grams. And then the next one is salt. So here we have salt. It's a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So what we can say here is 1/2 TSP salt in grams is 7 grams. So you might be thinking like, this is like, why do I have to measure salt? But it's also a cost. Just because it's cheap doesn't mean we should not be measuring it. And then 1 1/4 cups of sugar. So you just put it as 1 and space and 1/4 cups of sugar in grams. And then it should come out somewhere here. 1 1/4 cups of gram is 235.5 grams, 235.5 grams. 4 large eggs, we just put it as 4 because it's a given measure already. We don't measure that in grams. And then I'll explain how we work that out later on. And then here we have 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract is 100 milliliters, I think. So let's just say 1 TBS vanilla extract. And I know that sometimes we don't find vanilla extract and we go for vanilla essence. That is also fine, as long as you just have it in the same unit. And here I just wanted to confirm if it's really 100 milliliters, because that's what I have in my notes. All right, let me stick to my notes. So it's 100 milliliters, okay? And then lastly, it says 1 1/4 cups of whole milk, or it even says heavy cream mixed with 1/2 cup of water. So this is an or, so which means we can also use 1 1/4 cups of whole milk. So 1 1/4 cups of whole milk is 295.74 milliliters, right? Okay. So then that is now, those are the measures. These are the measures for our vanilla cake recipe. Are we following so far? I hope I'm not leaving anyone behind. Let me know in the chat, please, if we are all together. Thank you, Carrie. Carrie says she's following. Deidre says she's following. All right, Rodensia, thank you, ladies. Okay, so now the next thing that we are going to do is we have the vanilla buttercream frosting. So that is down here already, and these measures are already given. So what I'm going to do is from here for the vanilla buttercream, I'm just going to add to say that this is 452 grams. And then what else do we need? We also need salt. Where's the salt here? I do put some salt in my buttercream. It tones it down a little bit. Okay, so it's unsalted butter. Okay, here it is. It's 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So that is 3 grams. So we'll just put a 3 there. And then what other ingredient is there? Vanilla extract is 12 grams. So we will just add it next to the vanilla extract here. So it's 12 grams. And what else do we have? Powdered sugar is 7 cups. So I'll just make a note of that. Powdered sugar is 7 cups, which gives us 907 grams. And then lastly, 3 teaspoons of heavy cream is 45 grams. Are you ladies following? Okay, thank you, Rodensia. All right. So that is literally it. So what happens here is, this is just my rough work. You can do this on a piece of paper. You need to, like, for the recipe that you're using, find out how much butter you need in total, because this butter is for the vanilla cake and this butter is for the buttercream. So the total amount of butter that we need is 678.8 grams, right? So just slightly more than a brick of butter. And then another ingredient that both recipes are sharing is salt. So we need 10 grams of salt. And then another one is the vanilla extract. So I hope you ladies took notes, because I will need your help on this cake pricing calculator. So if you're following, let me just know in the chat so that I can proceed. Okay, all right, thank you. All right, thank you, ladies. So let's continue. I hope it's all ladies, because I can continuously say ladies. All right, so I think, can I just ask someone to help me at this juncture? Is there someone that has the recipe with them and that took notes, that wants to help me without me paging back? That can just help me to read out the ingredient names, and I'll just want you to help me to read out the ingredient names, which is literally, which is literally these ingredients. If it's butter, I would just want you to read for me 678.8 grams. Salt is 10 grams. Vanilla extract is 112 grams. If you took these notes, please let me know. Is there someone that can help me? Okay, thank you, Sophie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so Sophie, I would want you now to unmute yourself on the next, after we go shopping, I would want you to unmute yourself and help me. So what we are doing is, let's go to Checkers. We are shopping now. So what happens here is, we have to write down these prices. So Sophie, I want you to help me to write down the price of butter. So the price of butter is 84.99 rands, or Namibian dollars, excuse me. And that is 500 grams. So I want you to write 500 grams of butter costs 84.99. That's the first thing that I want you to write down. Okay. Let me know if I'm leaving you behind, Sophie. Then the next one is cake. Yes. The next one is cake flour.
Are we good?
Okay.
Mhm.
Cake flour. Cake flour is 84.99 rands, and that is 5 kilograms, right? 5 kilograms costs 84.99. Okay.
Is the butter and the flour the same price?
Let me see. Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right, for 5 kilograms. And then the royal, let's just say baking powder, is 32.99 for 200 grams. 32.99 for 200 grams. That's our baking powder. The salt is 16.99 for 1 kilogram. 16.99 for 1 kilogram.
Mm-hmm.
sugar is 124.99 for 5 kilograms. 124.99 for 5 kilograms. Then we have our icing sugar, which is 79.99 for 500 grams. 2 times 500 grams, it says 2 times. So it's 1 kilogram. 1 kilogram is 79.99 because it says 2 times 500 grams. Okay. And then our eggs, it's 69.99 for 30 eggs. 69.99 for 30 eggs. Ladies, I hope you all are also taking notes so that if we get it wrong, you will help us. Okay. All right. So I couldn't find vanilla extract checkers and I took vanilla essence. So vanilla essence is 24.99 for 100 milliliters. 100 milliliters is 24.99. Okay. And then our full cream milk is 38.99 for 2 liters. I think this is a 2 liter, for 2 liters, yes. 38.99 for 2 liters. And then our caster sugar is 49.99 for 1 kilogram. 49.99 for 1 kilogram. Yeah, our house is so busy tonight. Okay. And then the whipping cream is 31. You can see, ladies, it's on sale with card if you use the card. But when you're doing your cake pricing, I would advise you not to use the sales price, like a price that is on sale, because your ingredients will not always be on sale. And if you use your sales price in your costing, then you need to change it all the time. So let's be consistent. Try not to use the sale price. Always use the original price. So it's 31.99. 31.99 for 250 milliliters. All right. I think I'm missing one ingredient. It's not loading. It's not loading, so I'm not sure which ingredient I'm missing. Are we all following so far? Thank you, Carrie. Following. Okay. All right, Sophie, let's add the ingredients. The first ingredient is butter. So when you get this cake pricing sheet, in this cake pricing sheet is for sale. It's for sale for $150 if you want it. So when you do this now, the first ingredient here, I believe, was butter. Is butter. So how much, and ladies here, let me first explain the cake pricing sheet and like before I dive into it. All right. So when you happen to buy this area here is where you insert your ingredient names, and all the parts you see in yellow, those are where you actually add the values, right? So when you start populating values here, everything else on the spreadsheet is going to change. The green part will give you the price of your cakes for your cake. And here, you need to know by yourself, if I use a 9-inch, 6-inch layer cake pan, how many layers am I going to get? For this particular recipe, we are going to get 2 layers. And you've already seen the, what do you call it? You've already seen the cake. It's a very simple cake and it's literally 2 layers. So I will just add 2 layers there. At the bottom of this sheet is where you add your cake supplies. And this is the yellow part is where you also populate the information. And this is where you'll get the cost of your supplies. That will then populate and give you the final price of your cake. But before we dive into the price of your cake, let's talk a little bit about your hourly rate, because I want you ladies to get paid from your baking, okay? And just heads up, I don't have a lot of time left on this meeting. I literally have like 9 minutes left. So I'm not sure, I'm going to pop the link for the new continued class in the bakers group, and then you can just click to join the meeting when we get cut off. Okay, so what's happening, let me first see if that is fine. Is that fine, ladies? Like, if we get cut off, can I pop the link in the group and then you join again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, good. Yes. Thanks, Adrian. Thanks, Carrie. All right. So I want you ladies to get paid from your baking, and that is the goal of today's class, because we spend so much time baking and decorating. So let me just ask if someone can just unmute themselves and let me know, how much time do you think you will be, spending on this particular cake design? And that's except for you, Sophie. Let me know, ladies, considering the baking rounds, considering the washing up and the cleaning, considering the decorating, preparing your buttercream. There's no cake topper for this cake. Let's include the time for you driving and shopping around for ingredients. Let's include the time for you packaging this cake, getting it into the box, making it look pretty for delivery or for pickup. You prepping your ingredients, that means now you sifting those ingredients, cleaning up, or you're just basically mixing them up, prepping them for the baking process. How the number of sessions that you will be having in your kitchen, whether it's maybe baking rounds or decorating rounds, because it's one cake, it's maybe just going to be one decorating round. You crumb coating and stacking, netting out fondant. For this one, it doesn't have fondant or cake toppers, but you are crumb coating. And yeah, basically considering all that labor, how much time do you think realistically you will be spending on this cake? Let me know. Anyone can unmute themselves and let us know. Carrie, do you want to tell us maybe how much time you think you will be spending on this cake? No one is coming through. Sophie, how much time do you think you'll be spending on this cake?
It's a very simple cake. I would say plus minus 3 hours. I mean, I don't normally count baking time because I don't get to do anything during baking time or cooling off time. Those are some of the minutes that I take off from the prep. So I would just say approximately 3 hours.
Okay. Ladies, if you have a different number for this cake, the amount of time it will take, let me know in the chat, please. Don't be shy. I would love to hear from you all. How much time do you think, except maybe if there's someone that will take more than 3 hours or less than that time? Let me know in the chat. Is there anyone else that maybe wants to let us know how much time they will be spending on this cake? Tella, Tatiana, Deidre, I see one message here. Carrie, okay, Deidre, because it's a basic cake, I would agree with 3 hours maybe, okay? Carrie says, just on the cake, I agree, approximately 3 hours, but adding the rest of the factors in it, baking time, washing, shopping, 6 hours. All right, so let's stick to 6 hours, right, ladies? Let's stick to 6 hours because you'd also be driving around to get stuff for this cake. So let's take that as 6 hours. Let's just put 1 minute so that you can see how that function works. So the total number of minutes, time in minutes, is 361 minutes. Now, the next thing that you need to add on the cake pricing sheet is your rate, your hourly rate. For all your baking time, you need to say how much is 1 hour of your time worth. You need to be able to figure out and tell us how much are you charging per rate. Doctors, lawyers, all these professionals have hourly rates, right? People that do practices or that have a practice. So as an entrepreneur yourself and as a cake artist, you also need to have an hourly rate so that you can set that as part of your pricing. So ladies, what do you think is a fair hourly rate? How much do you want to get paid per hour? someone with a degree in the public service, for example, gets paid around $160 per hour till around about $300 Namibian dollars per hour. How much do you think realistically you can get paid per hour? Can you just give me a rough number in the chat? It doesn't have to be correct, just something that we can work with. Can anybody just put a guess in the chat, please? $150 to $200. Okay, so let's say 150, right? Thank you, Carrie. So that let's say 150, that is your hourly rate. So now your labor rate will be 902. Just you getting paid for this particular cake based on your hourly rate is 902, right? So this is not including any ingredients, nothing. So this literally means that this cake will not cost less than $902. So are you ladies agreeing with that? Should we proceed? Should we reduce this? What should we do? Let me know in the chat. Sophie, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I'm gone.
Okay. All right. So this is where the tricky bit comes in. So let's try to give it the minimum, because I think this has to do with confidence as well. I think there's an answer in the chat. Okay, Tatiana says we should reduce. So let's just say that maybe you are charging $30 per hour. So which means for you just baking this cake without including your recipe costs, anything, this person will have to put down $180.50 for you to start baking this cake. I think we can work with this. Not that we can't work with 150, but I want us to, because I think the problem that we have is undercharging. So I want to work with a small number and then we work up based on that. We have 2 minutes before this meeting kicks us out, then I will send another link. So the rate per hour is 30 Namibian dollars, and that means that you will be paid $180. They will just have to put that down for you to start baking this cake. Here at the coast, people won't pay that. I will need to reduce. Okay, so let's go with 180. All right, so what happens here is when you insert this amount here, then your spreadsheet will start populating something for you. Can you see that $180.50 is here? So that is how this spreadsheet is integrated. So now we can proceed to the next part of our pricing. So yes, I think we just have 1 minute. I'm not sure if maybe I'll take some questions before we send the new meeting link, or see if everyone is following. Does this make sense? Is this helpful before we proceed? Let us know, ladies. Sophie, what do you think?
Esther, I think the class is very helpful because it cuts into the mentality of our markets and who we sell cakes to. But also it's very vital to understand that we put in the work, we put in the hours. So when that hourly rate came up, and also understanding, because I bake in the coast, and I wouldn't, okay, more or less I would disagree with the hours spent, because I'm also, it depends from person to person and how fast we are individually on a cake. So working on a number is very, very good, but also understanding understanding the market that we bake in is also very, very crucial. So I really, really understand when the other person says that people from the coast will not be able to, I can relate to that. So the class is top notch.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, ladies, I'll pop the link to the new class. I'll stop sharing for now. And I'll pop